The gospel today talks about prophets. It says anyone who welcomes a prophet because he is a prophet will have a prophet's reward. But I don't know if you feel like that's something that's open to you. There don't seem to be that many prophets around to welcome. I think there are. I think there are prophets in our midst. A prophet is someone who is close to God and whose words and witness speak to us of God. And I'm going to tell you about one person in particular who I think is very prophetic in his life and in his words. His name was Carlo Acutis. He was born to an Italian family, but in London in 1991, just 32 years ago. And then they moved back to Italy quite soon. He grew up in Italy. His parents were culturally Catholic, but they didn't go to Mass. But when Carlo was little, he heard about the Eucharist. He heard that Jesus was really present in the Eucharist. And that just really touched his heart. He was really attracted. And he was very young at the time. He still hadn't made his first Holy Communion. But he used to badger his mum and dad, so that whenever they were walking past a church, he said, "Can we go in? Can we go in? I want to say hello to Jesus." So then he made his first Holy Communion, age 7. And after that, he didn't just come to Mass on Sundays. He came to Mass every day. Although having said that, he was an ordinary boy as well. He wasn't very weird or something. He liked PlayStation, he liked computers. He was very good at computers. He was actually very good at programming. He learned to program at a young age. And he realized that he could put his talents to work spreading the good news. And he made a website. He made a website that detailed all the Eucharistic miracles that have taken place in the world, so that to be able to spread faith in the mystery of the Eucharist. It's actually still online. If you want to look at it, you can type in his name, Carlo Acutis website, you'll find it. He was also a really loving person. At school, he used to stick up for the other children when they were bullied. He was always very attentive to children whose parents were going through a divorce. And he would make sure that they were supported and they had a good friend in that difficult time. He also helped homeless people. But Carlo then became sick when he was just about 14 years old. He got leukemia, which is a horrible kind of cancer. And he died just 1 year later, aged 15. Before dying, he said, "I'm happy to die because I have lived my life without wasting a minute on those things that do not please God." What a powerful thing to say. What wisdom in a boy of 15 years who was dying. That's a wisdom that comes from God. And that's why I say that Carlo Acutis was a prophet. Another beautiful thing he said, "Everyone is born an original, but most people end up as photocopies." That's true. We're all born unique creations of God, and we spend our time trying to copy others to make ourselves less original. What a shame. That's not what he did, though. He just looked to Jesus. He looked to God, and that made him profoundly original, because he was who God called him to be. Another thing he said, it's good for our sunny weather at the moment, he said, "When we spend time in the sun, we get a suntan. But when we spend time before Jesus in the Eucharist, we become saints." So there he's talking about what we do when we pray, when we put the monstrance on the altar, and we put the Blessed Sacrament in the altar, and then we pray silently. We do it every day in this church, in the evenings. And it is what happened. Carlo Acutis became a blessed. He was declared a blessed. Blessed is somebody who's on the way to being declared a saint. Carlo is prophetic for us. He was prophetic actually even for his parents. I met his mum not so long ago. Her name's Antonia. She came to London to speak about her son. She came and she spoke to a packed church and she preached without notes for an hour. It was brilliant. She was so full of love for the Lord. And remember, this is somebody who, before Carlo was born, didn't even used to go to Mass. But she had received his prophetic witness, and it had transformed her life, so that she became prophetic for others as well. Let's ask Blessed Carlo to intercede for us, so that our lives may be transformed, so that we may become prophets as well.